Hi everyone, and welcome back to another reading. In today's reading, we're looking at everything about you. So we're looking at your aura, at your soul, at your personality, your strength, weaknesses. Basically, we are just looking to get as much information as possible about who you are and what your journey here is. So if you're interested in this type of personality analysis type of reading, I have prepared 3 different pre-shuffled oracle piles. Let's go through them one by one. We have pile number 1 with Sulfur, pile number 2 with Venus, pile number 3 with the new Pearl. So please make your pile selection based on your intuition, and I will see you in your reading. Bye! Hi everyone, if you selected pile number 1 or Sulfur, this is going to be your reading all about you. We're going to take a look at your personality, at your soul, at your aura, as well as at your strength and weaknesses, and as much as we can get basically about your journey here. So let's dive right in. With Sulfur, this makes me think of geysers, with bubbling energy that is ready for explosion. So there's definitely some sort of inability to move or transition through acidity in our lives that you're gifted with. Very, very powerful character. We have cut your losses with moon in detriment. Cut your losses. This gives me fixed sign energy. Maybe some of you are Tauruses. Just very powerful energy so far, okay? Pile number 1, we have the Assassin, ruthlessness, and conviction. Yeah, okay. Whoa, powerful energy. We have the Miser, stubbornness, inflexibility. Again, the same theme of being very fixed, very, very strong person here. Very rooted in one's identity. And we have the Waker, awareness and reflection. All right, it seems like you, pile number 1, are definitely very, very powerful in terms of your sense of identity. You really understand that certain ways in which you perceive the world with a Waker here are true and are just basically naturally your gifts, and you're really not willing to compromise. With the Waker and the Assassin here, I mean, it just gives me a feeling that you really know certain truths about life and you've never really listened otherwise, you know what I mean? So it kind of gives me a feeling like if you were born into a conventional religion, pile number 1, into a family that practices something very conventional, like right away you were like, yeah, that's not for me. I really see the connection between me and the source. I'm not really interested in this particular religion. Like you right away kind of saw through the bigger picture here. All right, before I talk too much, let's reveal the rest of your cards. We have Sun in Cancer with resourcefulness here. Resourcefulness, very smart also. And we have Venus in Virgo with discrimination. Yeah, very, very intelligent. Some might even say street smart here, okay, with resourcefulness and discrimination. You have an understanding of like what is for you and what doesn't really belong to you and what you have no interest in entertaining. Like you really have a strong sense of identity here. That is pretty clear, pile number 1. Let's get your tarot cards. We have 9 of Cups. We have Ace of Pentacles. We have Knight of Pentacles. We have 5 of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant. Okay, yeah, that makes sense with awareness and reflection here. You, pile number 1, are definitely a spiritually enlightened, or at least more consciously enlightened or aware individual than most of the population, okay? And we have Queen of Pentacles. Wow, all right, pile number one. So first and foremost, I want to emphasize something that is very unique that I'm seeing here. It's like there is a dichotomy to your character, okay? It's kind of making me smile already because on the outside, pile number one, you come off as very, very rational, very someone who just has their ish together, at least emotionally, you know what I mean? Like you really present a strong persona outwardly into the world, basically. You really present yourself as someone who is very strong, very rooted in their identity, someone who's not very flexible or not very prone to be influenced by other people, nothing like that. And it's funny because from your soul's perspective, you are actually much more gentle than that. Like I think your ego has built an identity that is very strong, that has a lot of leadership qualities, that presents itself to the world in a very powerful, strong main character type of energy here, with obviously the assassin, ruthless conviction, stubbornness, inflexibility, and awareness and reflection. But from your soul's perspective, you are really much more gentle, pile number one. From your soul's perspective, you are very full of love. You are very ready to give love. You're very kind. You're very sweet. I mean, Nine of Cups is a fulfillment of a dream. Basically, your dream come true on a soul level, okay, for anyone, because you are just so kind and excited and loving, and there's so much positive energy within you with Nine of Cups here, basically, that you are willing to share. There's so much positive energy to you with Nine of Cups here, and it's clear that you're ready to share this positive energy with others. Clearly, it's very much your personality to prioritize other people. Like it seems that you, pile number one, are really someone who can truly take care of people emotionally. You're a really good friend, okay? With Ace of Pentacles here, you are the type of person who is really loyal, someone who will help out pretty much to anyone in any situation needed. Basically, pile number one, with this Ace of Pentacles, I'm really getting that you're the kind of person that anyone can talk to and you would help them out. You would be really willing to listen. You really would be willing to hear out what their perspective is, and you wouldn't, basically you're not prone to just dismiss anyone just because other people think that this party should be dismissed. You're the kind of person who always gives credibility to how you feel yourself, and you yourself decide to choose who to help and how to help, and you are a very, very honestly helpful person to the point where you might be prioritizing other people a bit too much. I mean, this is what our cards here are telling you. This pile number one, is emphasizing your strength of basically movement through life, through the material realm. It is emphasizing your hard work. It is emphasizing your commitment to your dream or your skill. It is clear to me, pile number one, that you are the kind of person who really knows who they are, really knows what they want, and you've really been trying to do everything in your power to basically achieve that. You have been, slowly but steadily building a life for yourself that you can be proud for. And yes, maybe sometimes there have been stagnation periods in your life or complete redirection, right? Because Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight, but it's also the knight that accomplishes the most, right? So although this is a slow energy, you are actually really applauded on this energy from the perspective of the swords. This is one of your strengths, to be able to truly commit to something for such an extended period of time, to really be stubborn about something here that you're pursuing. Because clearly, pile number one, you have just been living with a level of awareness throughout your life that is higher than most human population. And I'm saying that because of the Waker here, but also because of the Hierophant coming out here as a card that is meant to symbolize what makes you unique. What makes you unique is your spiritual or metaphysical perspective. There is some sort of an internal lens of analysis with which you approach our world and our experience here that is basically your greatest skill. You have this spiritual connection with the source, with the truth. You have basically, I will say, a link to the source or to the realm of the ether or the realm of the archetype here, right? This really gives me a feeling of you being directly connected to a source of information. Like you're directly plugged into Akashic records, and all of your perceptions, even when you are misjudged, even when your ego takes over, your original like lens of analysis with which you view reality and life and the world in general, like the very primal, metaphysical level of analysis, that is your greatest power, because your lens of analysis is naturally so spiritual and so rooted in love and light and so out of touch with fear. You, pile number one, basically have a direct line of communication with the source. It's like I'm seeing a visual of being plugged into the Akashic records. Like you truly possess some sort of a very strong claircognizant abilities here, where you are able to see the truth of reality pretty clearly. Now, obviously, this energy can get convoluted throughout our lives. Like, you don't always have to identify with this being your greatest ability. Of course, because we go through periods of life when we deal with karma, when we deal with shadow energy, whatever it might be for you, right? In the end of the day, what I'm sensing is no matter how much darkness you had to deal with, and with Sulfur here and cut your losses, it seems like, pile number one, honestly, you have dealt with quite a bit of heaviness in your life, with quite a bit of feeling like you're left out in the cold, like you have to cut your losses and just move, because there's nothing you can do. Someone screws you over, you can't fall to their level of consciousness. You decide to cut your losses and move on and start new, and you've done that over and over again, and it seems like you really have been committed to something here, to a real life, to a real dream, to fulfilling something of your own here. And I think that is because you have been obviously so spiritual connected through your life. I feel like, pile number one, it would have been impossible for you to deny yourself that. Like, you were meant to really get rooted in the spiritual knowledge throughout your life. And I think, to be honest with you, this gives me a feeling of like, the more you reject your spiritual and psychic abilities, the more you will actually feel the energy of suffering and disappointment, just because like your spiritual abilities are such an intrinsic part of who you authentically are, that whenever you resist it, it's very much an act of like self-sabotage from the perspective of your ego. So definitely there is an emphasis on you being this spiritual light, and this basically making you absolutely unique. I mean, I think you have had a pretty big team on your side. Maybe you've heard that from other readings, but it's like you have come to clear out some massive dark energy in your lifetime here, and likely, pile number one, your youth has been quite difficult, or you just dealt with seemingly more issues than most people deal with. Like, there just has been one thing after another, one loss after another, but this energy has really prepared you for the future. Basically, you needed to work through some sort of agreements and karma. You needed to close out some cycles in one way or another for you to really get rooted in your identity as a spiritual person here. And that happens at some point in your life here. With the weaknesses being Five of Pentacles here, I mean, pile number one, I really relate to this, pile, because it's clear to me that you are very spiritually enlightened, but you might have experienced a lot of difficulty just providing for yourself, just because of your circumstance, your family situation, or negative self-imprisoning beliefs in general. With this Five of Pentacles being in direct opposition to Queen of Pentacles, which is who you are at your best. It's clear to me there's this dichotomy in your energy. On one hand, you have this incredible ability to manifest financial success, abundance, luxury, really being rooted in living a slow and luxurious life here. But on the other hand, you have experienced a lot of setbacks, it seems, with resources in your life here. This energy is reflective of your energy, pile number one. And it tells me that on one hand, you are an absolutely powerful creator of financial prosperity, luxury, abundance, your ideal life with Queen of Pentacles here. But at the same time, you're also really prone to kind of losing it when it comes to emotional regulation. Let's just say that you're prone to stress, okay? This is what we're getting here with Five of Pentacles. You're prone to self-pity, you're prone to certain negative beliefs, certain negative, there is a duality energy to you, pal number one. It's like on one hand, you have this incredible gift and responsibility and potential for this lifetime to fulfill spiritually. But on the other hand, before this gift is truly activated in you, it is also really heavy to carry. Honestly, let me try to give you an example with the miser here. Look at this image. It just makes me think of you incarnating on this earth with a massive amount of light energy, very high spiritual energy, highly charged, very high vibrational being. You were put into high density of earth, and then the karmic energy basically took on, right? So you started dealing with your karma, you kind of got caught up in the material world here, and that spiritual energy from within you, that energy, because it's so powerful, it is incapable or inconsistent with certain ego limiting narratives that you tell yourself. So basically what I'm seeing is you have been given a super high potential spiritual energy in your lifetime, but before you know who you are, before you really learn how to handle this spiritual power and energy, it's this is going to be more of a burden. I hope that makes sense. Basically what I'm trying to accomplish here is to let you know that you are an extremely powerful soul, okay, pile number one, extremely powerful. But also I can sense that because you're so extremely powerful, when you yourself fall into these limiting traps, or when you go through something difficult, some sort of a setback, you have this tendency of going downhill with your own limiting beliefs. It's your power spiritually, it needs to be directed properly. And this is the skill that you came to learn in this lifetime. Basically, you came to honor this power, and before you're able to truly be in your power here, you might struggle in terms of finances, in terms of resources, in terms of feeling abundant and safe. And if you're experiencing this right now, pile number one, don't worry. Basically what I'm trying to say here, it's kind of it's a gift and a curse, right? For instance, when you have a very sensitive heart, that's a gift and a curse, right? Because on one hand, you feel very small joyful moment to basically ecstasy levels of excitement, right? Sometimes I'm so happy about such small things happening for me in my life. Truly, I don't need anything else, and this is so beautiful. But also when things are painful, they're really painful, right, pile number one? And this is kind of what I'm seeing here. You have the same amount of potential to basically become this absolutely massive leader of this world as you do to self-destruct. Okay, you have it's a great power and it's a great responsibility, and that's why it takes a lot to carry it, pile number one. I will just say that, pile number one, at your best, you would be in a position of creative power, in a position of spiritual power specifically here. It's definitely a leadership position that brings you a lot of abundance and positions you in a way where people look up to you as to their spiritual leader. So this could be, priesthood. This could be you having manifestation workshops. This could be you connecting to the divine feminine and having groups of women surrounding you. This could be you practicing herbal witchcraft, whatever it might be for you, whatever your practice is. You were really meant to truly rely on your awareness here in your lifetime, okay, pile number one? You were not meant to just kind of put your spiritual thing to the side and to use it for other things in your life. Rather, your spirituality is the fundament to your success and to your future happiness here. Because of the extreme levels of awareness and attunement to energies around you, pile number one, you are also extremely resourceful. And honestly, when you really pay attention, like if you are truly rooted in your body and you start observing the world around you and people around you, you have an incredible skill of really determining what energies are for you and what energies are not for you. So if you've experienced a lot of disappointment in people because you've chosen them, like you've chosen them to be your friend or your partner, and then they kind of end up being not the best person, if you have experienced a lot of kind of feeling like you are not good at sensing what people are about, that is actually a limiting belief, because from the perspective of your soul, you're really good with seeing through. Basically, you have a gift of, with the raven here, you have a gift of spiritual wisdom. You're claircognizant, okay? Right away, when you look at a situation, consciously you realize what the truth of the situation is. It's just important to catch that claircognizant moment of awareness first without convoluting it with your own thoughts, okay? So yeah, pile number one, you definitely have an ability to basically discriminate between truth and falsehood. You can tell if people are lying to you here. And if you really want to expand on this skill, I would say it's really important to allow that energy to come through without continuing to think about it. So for instance, if you have a psychic kind of thought that comes into your mind when you see someone, you meet them for the first time, that you don't like them, that they might not be the best person energetically, you kind of feel that, but then your mind comes in and you're like, well, no, you know nothing about them, that's not true. Allow yourself to not gaslight your instinct. You don't have to act in accordance with your instinct, right? Just consider it. Just say, all right, I think so, let's see how it goes. Because you definitely have an ability to see through, basically, people's bullshit. There's this energy of beauty and gentleness and femininity to you as well. Like, I honestly think, pile number one, you might perceive yourself as a masculine force. You know what I mean? Like, you might really respect yourself for your masculine qualities, like hard work, dedication, commitment, being the stronger person, you know, for your intellect with awareness and reflection here. But you actually have very much feminine qualities from your soul's perspective. Like, your soul is really here to acknowledge your qualities of kindness and softness and beauty and nurture that you're capable of here. So yeah, pile number one, it seems like you are a whole package here. I just want to let you know that at your best, you are really rooted in your spiritual and psychic nature here. So if you feel like you're resisting that side of you, maybe ask yourself, why? Why are you resisting it if it's so natural to who you authentically are and want to be? And I mean, this is really just this is a really sweet energy, pile number one. I know that you might think that your greatest accomplishments are your hard work, your dedication, your commitment, your ability to pull yourself together, but truly, your cards are telling us a different story here. They're telling us all of that, but they're also really commenting on you being gentle and you being rooted in your feminine power and your feminine authority here and your spirituality and your truth. There's definitely an intuitive quality to you, pawn number one, and at your best, you are able to utilize both your mental capacity, your intellect, and your intuition as well for the benefit of yourself and everyone else. So yeah, pile number one, I mean, this is very, very beautiful energy. I am honored to have people like you watching my channel, so thank you so much for being here and for honoring me with your energy. And yeah, I think this is all that I see here. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me and if you want to support me, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi everyone. If you selected pile number 2 or Venus, this is going to be your reading. All about you, your aura, your personality, your strength, weaknesses, etc. So I'm pretty excited about this reading. Let's reveal the rest of your oracle cards. Obviously with Venus here. Some of you might be Venus dominant or ruled signs. So you could be a Taurus, you could be a Libra, you could have a lot of Libra and Taurus placements. Venus could rule your chart. So maybe you have your ascendant in Taurus or Libra. But yeah, definitely a lot of Venusian energy here. Drawing down the moon. Knowledge. Drawing down the moon. Knowledge. There is some sort of a unique ability to embody knowledge for you, pile number 2. With Venus and knowledge and this dancing figure here, this really makes me feel like the opposite of intellectual enlightenment, right? Intellectual enlightenment is when we consciously or with our intellect recognize certain truths, but we haven't experienced them yet. This very much gives me the experience of an enlightenment. We have the aspirant, ambition, diligence, setback. The aspirant. So a student of life. Let's see the rest. We have the patron, mentorship, finances. Wow. Do you guys see the synchronicity here? It's like there seems to be a theme for you to go from a student into a mentor here. And we have the sentinel, determination, certainty. Wow. What a powerful, powerful pile. Okay, let's see your astrology cards. We have Jupiter in Sagittarius with fulfillment. We have the money baggie here. Traveling. This gives me a feeling of like an explorer, an adventurer, a traveler, okay? Jupiter in Sagittarius. And we have Mars in Libra with influence. Wow, yeah. Whenever this card comes up, I oftentimes bring about the story of Adam and Eve and the serpent here, right? Just because traditionally speaking, the serpent is a bad guy in Christianity, right? Because the serpent is the one who convinces Eve to disobey God and to eat the forbidden fruit, as per se. But in the period of the rise of Christianity and when Judaism was still controlling most of the Middle East area, the serpent here, from the occult perspective, has been considered a hero actually, because he brings about truth. He influences Adam and Eve, or primordial men and women, to find truth for themselves, to discover the power of being human, to discover the power of free will and knowledge. So there's definitely some sort of a heavy emphasis on you basically being able to bring people, walk people to the truth. Spiritual mentorship type of vibes here. Okay, pile number 1. Let's just get your tarot cards and we'll see more. We have 5 of Pentacles, we have 6 of Wands, we have 3 of Wands, the Lovers. Okay, this palette is heavily giving me Libra vibes or Gemini vibes. I will tell you why. It's this Lovers card in combination with Venus. There is some sort of an inability to make decisions that comes out as a weakness for you, pile number 2. We'll see. We have the Moon. I love this presentation of the moon because we're looking into the reflection of the water here with the character. I just got a funny Harry Potter theme flash into my head. And we have Ace of Cups here. Alright, pile number 2, let's get straight into it. So there's definitely a theme of you being a very spiritually aware and awakened individual in comparison to other people. The reason I say that is because of ambition, diligence, and setback with mentorship and patron. This book here really makes me feel like at first, you're the student of life here. You're trying to understand the keys of life. You're trying to get that right perspective, that right key to unlock your knowledge. And then at some point in your life, you transition to mentorship of basically already having access to this knowledge. The keys are already yours and you're able to teach that. But obviously the journey here from the student into the mentor is an important journey in your lifetime, and I'm not sure where you guys personally stand on that, just because I am getting a feeling that you guys might be closer to the mentorship position at this point. And let's get straight into it. So with Venus here, right, and with drawing down the moon knowledge, this really makes me feel that you have a quality too that is very unique, where you can intuitively sense, pick up, and embody this spiritual knowledge. So what does this mean? When I think about spiritual knowledge and truth and enlightenment, I think of this information as twofold, basically, right? You can have an intellectual understanding of universal truths, like this could be an intellectual enlightenment. That doesn't mean that you are energetically enlightened, right? You can understand all of the truth from the perspective of your intellect, but you can still not have experienced this personal growth. However, there's also an element of you not necessarily understanding all of the intellectual truth and you embodying that truth, right? Because not everyone has to come into spirituality in the same exact manner. Not everyone has to have the same kind of relationship with themselves, with their life, and with the divine here. And you, pile number 2, are very gifted at understanding the truth from a variety of perspectives. But basically what this combination of these 4 cards here are telling us is that you're not just intellectually enlightened. At this point, you're really allowing this truth to penetrate in your body. So you're not just out there reading books about manifestation. You're doing like the work, the energetic and emotional cleansing and work that spirituality sometimes takes. Like you have already integrated this knowledge into the level of your body here, and that is why your crown chakra can be very, very powerful. Okay, pile number 2, your crown chakra, you might have a very lavender purple aura. You might be attracted to colors like lavender, purple, pink. There is an element to you that is Venetian, no doubt. And the reason why I said Libra in the very beginning, just because of lovers here. So we're gonna go through your tarot cards right now. Let me just show you what these tarot cards signify in what position. So the card here, the lovers, right, it represents basically what your weakness is. And for lovers, for a major arcana here to come out as a weakness, it's clear to me that you struggle with choice. And the reason why people usually struggle with making choice or decisions in their life is because their identity must be tied up into either peacemaking, people pleasing, right, or you just don't have a sense of a very solid identity. So making decisions can be difficult because you see all of the sides of the spectrum, which decision leads where, and this can be very difficult. So this is very much, most of you, I would say some of you have very, very heavy Libra placements. I'm a Libra myself. There is a Libra here for lovers to come out as your weakness. And as we know, lovers is a card of making significant choices in our life that are bringing us towards our destiny. So for this to be an issue here, pile number 2, it might be that you have gotten caught up in cycles of people pleasing, in cycles of, listening to what other people are saying. It might be that you're just not sure what you want. You know what I mean? With the Lovers here, just because sometimes when we struggle with our identity and when we pursue things that we think are going to bring us happiness, and then we get them and then they don't end up bringing us happiness that we thought that they would, we start kind of feeling like, all right, maybe I don't know what's best for me. Maybe I should just back off out of my life a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't be making these decisions. And this decision paralysis, honestly, can be a very heavy energy, just because I'm pretty sure I really love this quote that I just recently have seen, and I wanted to share that with you, parallel number 2. I think it was Sadhguru that said it, but he said the worst thing you can do when in the midst of action is hesitate. Okay, and that is because just by the nature of how energies work, right? If you commit to something and you are going for it full force right before you receive it or right before you do something significant, if you start second guessing yourself, it's like you are taking away your own power from the decision and the manifestation that you have made. You have allowed the fear in, and I am seeing this as a struggle for you. And honestly, I just wanted to mention it in the very beginning, just because I'm seeing that this could be a struggle for you because of fear here. So pile number 2, you're giving me a feeling of someone who is honestly constantly you just want to make everyone happy. Okay, you want to be happy and you just want other people to be happy. And it seems to me that you're the kind of person who goes with the flow with a lot when it comes to other people. Okay, so maybe you had a situation growing up where your parents were not maybe the most emotionally regulated and stable people, and you kind of had a feeling that you're the one who is parenting them in one way or another emotionally. Okay, there is a feeling of you really always trying to balance out individuals around you. You could be really good at basically compromise and cooperation. Like, you're really, really good with understanding human nature here with influence, and you're really good with, having productive conversations with people and seeing how to resolve issues. I'm really seeing you, pal number 2, as the kind of person who is always willing to hear out the other perspective. You're not afraid of the truth, okay? With influence here, you're not afraid to dig deeper. You're not afraid of the truth. You're not the kind of person who would keep their eyes closed on something, okay? And it really makes me feel like, wow. File number 2, this is like it gives me a sense of pride. I'm almost feeling proud right now because you have this integrity to your character where, you really don't cross certain lines with yourself and with others. You really are just not willing to steep or fall to a certain level, and this really gives you your power here. With 5 of Pentacles coming out as representation of your soul, this really makes me think, look at the representation of this card. This really makes me think that you're a very old soul, okay? A very enlightened soul. Look, there are so many skeletons, so many skulls here, right? That the person is walking on. And this really makes me feel like, my goodness, you may have had so many incarnations, okay, pile number 2, and not just on earth. Like, this really gives me a feeling of you have gone to other planets, you've been to other galaxies, you have tried serving as a spirit guide, you have done this experience in relation to earth and ascension. You have done that multiple times in different forms, basically what I'm seeing here. You were always, throughout all of these lifetimes, you were after the truth. You were always trying to figure out how the universe works, okay? And I think I've said that in some of my readings. You guys might be the same people who are watching this. But there is this, you are just such a curious person by nature, honestly. It's making me smile here with the aspirant. You're just like after the truth in all of your lifetimes. It's like you have been to ancient Egypt, maybe you've been in Atlantis, you just have been to so many different places, and you have tried out this human life and other life forms in so many different ways, just because you were like, okay, like, in which way can I find this fulfillment here? You were always after some sort of fulfillment. And with Sagittarius being here, oh wait, this is not Jupiter, this is Saturn. Oh wait, this is not Jupiter, this is Saturn. My apologies, pile number 2. I don't know what's going on with me recently with these astrological cards. I keep getting confused with the signs and with the planets here. I really need to be more cautious about it. I think it's just my ADHD. But clearly, pile number 2, you were meant to find fulfillment in this lifetime in a way where you feel like you are the creator of your life, where you feel like your life is very adventurous, enthusiastic, and fun. I mean, Sagittarius is the most like go for it type of leadership fire sign, I would say. Sagittarius is all about adventure, philosophy, spiritual knowledge, really looking for the truth. And so some of you could be Sagittarians here as well. There's a lot of like searching for knowledge type of energy here. And pile number 2, here with 6 of Wands coming out as your personality, you're meant to be a leader, okay? You have this very beautiful, exciting, passion energy to you. I honestly think this has to deal with your nerdiness. My apologies for calling it nerdiness. I don't mean to use the word nerd in a negative way. Like, you are just really giving me a feeling of like this someone who's obsessed, okay, with finding knowledge in one way or another. You're reminding me of a crazy scientist who's like trying to crack a formula, who's dedicating all of their time and finally cracks it. You were meant to be in a position of power. You were meant to be a leader. You were meant to really have a life that is in the public eye and that recognizes you for your spiritual teachings, for your spiritual truth. You are meant to heal people, and I think with Venus being here, you're meant to reconnect them to their divine feminine in one way or another. I think you're not here to really teach just the truth, you know what I mean? You're not here to just be like the Hierophant who is just giving Sunday sermons as per se. Of course, if you are interested in that, that is all you. I'm not discouraging you from doing that, but this very much gives me a feeling like you could be working with women, you could be working with men on their femininity. Like, there is an aspect to you that really emphasizes helping people embody truth, helping people feel truth, helping people really connect with truth through their physical being rather than through their intellect only. With 3 of Wands coming out as your strength, clearly pile number 2, you are a creative, just fire spark, okay? I think you're just such a passionate and inspired person that you are constantly bombarded with basically channeled ideas about how you can proceed further, how you can utilize your talents. Like, you wouldn't surprise me if you were a multifaceted person. You could be the kind of person who really tried different kinds of things throughout their life. Like, at first you went to college and got a degree, and then you were like, all right, I've learned what I needed to learn. Let me change my major and do my master's. And then you do your master's, and you're like, well, for my PhD, I'm thinking entirely different area. For your strength to be 3 of Wands, 3 is a number of creation, right? And Wands is an energy of creation, the fastest energy, the fire energy, spirit energy here. So you not only have an ability to be passionate and to be creative, but also to connect to people through your creative pursuits, basically. Something really interesting that is occurring in your reading, and I'm not really sure about this, to be honest with you guys, with the moon coming out in this position, this was meant to represent a card that makes you unique, okay? Pile number 2, and okay, maybe some of you will know what I'm talking about. There is something about you where your fear is very unique to you, like what you're afraid of. You might be, you know what this gives me? It gives me a feeling of Harry Potter, 3rd part, when Lupin says, Harry, you're a very unique kid because you're not afraid of Voldemort. You're not afraid of death. You're afraid of fear, right? And there is something about you where your fear makes you unique, and where your personal journey with diving into your fear, with overcoming fear, is how you actually connect with others. But I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to know about here, because it's the moon card, right? And the moon card always comes with kind of a veil of secrecy over it, to be honest. It's fear, it's secrecy, it's mystery for a reason here. But definitely there's something about your fear here. Pile number 2. What you're scared of might be so unique that if you communicate it to other people, you would be able to free them from their own fear. Because these two really make me feel like they're connected. Like, you are meant to overpower your fear that is holding you back with some sort of embodiment of knowledge here. I can see you just, maybe doing ritualistic dances, or just really, really be in tune with your own physical body and how you process. This really gives me a feeling of being a shaman, dancing around the fire. Pile number 2, this card here, the last card here, is meant to represent how you feel when you are connected to who you truly are, to your authentic self, and you're really meant to feel like your cup is full. Okay, pile number 2, you're meant to really give. You're really meant to really help people connect with their sense of authenticity, with their sense of power, with their femininity. You're really meant to be fulfilled in your life. And honestly, I see you as one of those light worker leaders of the century, basically, with influence here, with fulfillment here. Okay, pile number 2, you have a very, very unique soul's vibration to you. You have a very, very unique perspective to you. I mean, honestly, you have a lot of lives. You have a lot of life experience. That's all I'm saying. Like, you're not the kind of person who incarnated like once or twice, okay? You have been here doing this thing for a long time. Like, you already understand the nature of how human ego works, and you're really meant to truly help people in this lifetime. You're meant to transition. I think you've spent a lot of your life as a student, and at some point, and I think it's in this lifetime, you're meant to really receive, a position of power that allows you to be a spiritual leader here in one way or another. Just because pile number 2, oh, it's so sweet. You just have such passion to you. Like, I can sense that if I talk to you, you have an ability to just fire up anyone else. You can give a motivational speech, okay? Pile number 2, you can give a really strong motivational speech to someone who is at the rock bottom of their life, and they will get up and be like, Yep, because pile number 2 said so. Because they are pile number 2. You have that inspiring and beautiful, passionate energy to you where you can really cause change in other people's lives, basically. And that's why it's so important for you, pile number 2, to get in touch with that power of you using your voice throughout your lifetime to basically channel your truth and to receive 6 of Wands here, your success here. For a lot of you, pile number 2, you're also meant to be doing this with a partner in one way or another, okay? So for those of you who do not have a soulmate yet, or you haven't met your person yet, but you want to, there's definitely that is in the card. There's a reason why you want that for yourself, okay? With influence here. A lot of you, I'm seeing really work in collaboration maybe with your partner. Like, this gives me Abraham Hicks. You know how Abraham Hicks is an entity that's being channeled by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks, right? Esther channels and Jerry like does the administrative stuff mostly. I'm pretty sure Jerry Hicks had already passed away a few years ago, actually. It's sad. A lot of spiritual gurus of the 20th century are now dying, and obviously we're entering an era of younger generation stepping into the position of power, and maybe that's what we're seeing here. Maybe you are really teaching and channeling with your partner here, because there's definitely an aspect of you, for a lot of you, where you work with your romantic partner, like they help you through everything, they travel with you, you guys are just like buddies who do this particular thing together. But yeah, pile number 2, there is an emphasis on you really being in your heart center, okay? At your best, you are very connected to your heart. You're a very compassionate, very kind individual. You just really see the truth of humanity, and I think that's why you have so much compassion. I think that's why you're so kind. I think that's why you're not really prone to cruelty or to being in your ego in that negative, illusion way where basically your ego is telling you that you're better than other people or anything like that. Basically, I just see you as someone who really understands that personal journey is personal and you're not focused on anyone else but yourself. And it's beautiful because your compassion here with Ace of Cups, your creativity, your ability to really fire up people is meant for you to be, you're meant to help people connect, find the key to their authentic self. I think because you've experienced some identity issues throughout your life, pile number 2, perhaps you yourself struggled with decision making or still struggle with decision making because of your uniqueness of the fear. Once you finally work through this, you will be able to help everyone else like you, okay? So those people who also struggle with decision paralysis, or those people who are really disconnected from their identity and can't really find their way back, you'd really be able to help them here. But there's definitely an emphasis on you just being a powerful spiritual leader with influence here, with also Sagittarius energy being here with the Asper and the Patron. You can truly trust your own spiritual judgment, pile number 2, okay? Make no mistake, pile number 2, like honestly, you have some pretty massive spiritual knowledge here. Like, you might not be one of those gurus out there, like, you know, Eckhart Tolle or Gary Zukov or one of them, basically, but you're really meant to be that in this lifetime. And it seems like, honestly, the amount of knowledge that you have and possess, like, it's much more powerful than even the self-help gurus that we see out there. Like, what you have is really rare here, and it's really massively powerful, and that's why I think it's taking you quite a bit of time to really understand this power and to really get rooted in it. So yeah, pile number 2, this is very, very powerful pile. Thank you so much for doing this reading with me. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi everyone, if you selected pile number 3 or Margarita Preciosa, the new pearl, this is going to be your reading all about you, what your aura might look like, what your weaknesses and strengths are, what your soul looks like from the spiritual perspective, as well as what your personality is like. So yeah, we will try to get as much information as possible. Transformation, moon magic, the new pearl, and transformation. Pearl is a very, very rare jewel, right? And it needs to go through some sort of transformative process for it to be found within the shell. Let's reveal these cards first. We have Jupiter in Taurus with a status. Beautiful. Royalty. And we have Sun in Leo with fortune. Wow, very, very positive cards. Let's get these Sentinel or Citadel cards. We have Chiromancer with delivering news and collaboration. We have the Runaway, secrets running from problems. Honestly, also this makes me think of high fashion. I can't help it. And we have the Dancer, self-expression, strength. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a feeling of luxury to this pile. What is this about? Luxury, artistry. Interesting. Let me get your tarot cards, pile number 3. Can we take a look at who pile number 3 is? Oh, we have, this fell all the way on the floor, 9 of Pentacles. We have 5 of Swords. We have the Lovers. Wow. We have the Hierophant. Again, spiritual pile. Jesus Christ. I mean, I assume that for people to want to watch tarot card videos like this, they have to be spiritual, but there's a lot of spiritual energy, guys. What makes pile number 3 unique? What makes pile number 3 unique? 3 of Pentacles. Okay, very much creative vibes. What can I say? I feel like in the past weeks, pile number 3 has been such a creative pile. And we have 3 of Swords. This is interesting. Okay, there's definitely some sort of a theme of channeling the shadow or moving through the shadow here and working through the shadow with Three of Swords. Actually, I need a clarifier for this card. My apologies, just give me 1 second. Can we get a clarifier for Three of Swords here? Can we get a clarifier for Three of Swords here? Can we get a clarifier for Three of Swords? We have Seven of Swords. Reflection, hope and reflection. Someone is raising from their grave. Yeah. I mean, definitely this gives me a feeling that you were meant to overcome some sort of a massive shadow energy in your life. This is a very different theme from pile number 1 and pile number 2. Some similarities, but this massive theme of overcoming heartbreak here is very, very different, okay? All right, pile number 3. So, with Nine of Pentacles coming out as your first card, this card is meant to represent your soul, right? Your soul blueprint. And with Nine of Pentacles being here alongside with Jupiter and Taurus, as well as Sun and Leo, with status and fortune, I am just giggling just because, you know, for your soul blueprint to be Nine of Pentacles is a card of abundance, of financial gain, of prosperity. You, pile number 3, somehow are just abundant on a soulful level, okay? You are meant to have fortune, success, abundance, status in your life. You are really meant to live a very privileged life. I'm just gonna say that, okay? You are meant to really live a very, very privileged life where you are familiar with people who are in circles that other people don't have access to. You're really meant to be in a position of power, in a position of control, and in the position of being the fortunate, basically, here. So if you have not reached that power in your lifetime just yet, know that this is meant to come because your soul's literal blueprint is being in abundance, okay? Pile number 3, you were meant to experience luxury, abundance. Also, pile number 3, clearly with status, with fortune, with a new pearl, you might have an eye for luxury, for beauty. You know, I can see you being the kind of person who really, even if your family or your circumstance growing up didn't allow you to have access to the best clothes, to the best designers, or, you know, to certain things that you might have wanted as a child. And the reason I say clothes is because of Runaway here. This really makes me feel like you have an eye for fashion, for art, for beauty. This really makes me feel like you really understand certain aspects of like elite society and what they care about, even if you come from a completely different space. Does that make sense? Like, you could be a person from a country that has no impact on international world of fashion, let's just say that, but within you there's this whole revolution of arts. Basically, this is what we're seeing here, okay? Basically, pile number 3, what I'm saying is your art, okay? You are art. You might be an artist, but you yourself are also art. Like, there is something about you that is so beautiful and luxurious, and there is this energy of just people looking at you and them wanting to be you here, okay? So definitely, with Five of Swords coming out as your personality, I mean, Five of Swords is usually a card of conflict, right? A card of either winning or losing an argument. So in your case, we see a win, right? So pile number 3, let's just say that you are a very strong person, okay? I don't think you're the kind of person who loves conflict. Like, you're not the person who is aggressively like seeking out conflict and seeking out how to shove down your opinion down people's throats. Nothing like that. Rather that you're the kind of person who knows the truth, who knows what's up, okay? And if someone really tries to cross you, really tries to, you know, mess with your integrity, with your sense of stability, really, really gets under your skin, you are not going to basically hesitate to put them in their place intellectually here with your words. You are not scared of taking on a battle, a conflict. You're not scared of, you know, telling people how it is if they really push you to that level. Now, with the Lovers card presenting your strength, here, you, pile number 3, are very gifted at recognizing who you are at what is for you and at following your heart. You have a very, very strong heart center. Your heart center, your heart chakra might be the most activated, the most, basically the best operating out of all of your chakras, because you have a sense of basically seeing through truth with your heart here, with the lovers. The lovers card is traditionally a card of making a choice that is sincere to who you are, rather than a choice that is easy to us in accordance with society. Okay, so you have this natural strength and ability to basically move towards things that are calling you. You have this natural ability to not get lost and not, try to follow everyone else's ideas for what you must do in this lifetime, but rather you have this ability to really decide for yourself what it is you want to do. Honestly, pile number 3, you give me a feeling of like a person who never asks for advice, okay? Maybe you do, maybe you ask for advice, but it doesn't matter because you don't listen. In the end of the day, when you have your mind made up, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, you don't care. You've made your mind up and you have a lot of personal power to move through with that. And yeah, as I said, one has to have a lot of personal power to really be like this, because obviously whenever other people, especially people who will love, try to tell us their opinions, we want to listen, right? We want to lean in and try to understand their perspective here too. But it seems to me that you are not influenceable type of person. Like, no one can really sway your opinion if you've made up your mind and you are really, really rooted in your power and in your understanding of what is true to you. You're not willing to settle for a life that doesn't feel yours, that doesn't feel fulfilling, that doesn't feel fortunate and exciting, that doesn't feel adventurous from your own perspective. The pearl is something valuable, something luxurious, but it's also something that is very hard to attain, right? Because human beings have to descend to the bottom of the ocean, where we don't belong, in my opinion, okay, to get the pearl, right? Something that we're looking for here. So there's definitely an energy of you being so unique, so luxurious. Like, so many people will want to get their hands on you, their eyes on you. They want to communicate with you. They want to be in the same room with you. You have that magnetism to you. People just want to be in your company because of your beauty, because of your natural strength. People just want you to be on their team. Okay, this is what we're getting here. So let's move on to the following row of cards. This Hierophant card here represents your weakness, actually. And it's interesting because the Hierophant, right? It's a spiritual card here and it represents your weakness. Now, in this case, this really makes me feel that you, pile number 3, really struggled with accepting the way that the world is, the way that the rules are. This makes me feel like you have felt restricted legally, you felt restricted maybe politically in your life, you know what I mean? With the Hierophant just represents, all of the existing social structures and bureaucracies and norms and belief systems that are in place in our society when we are born, or when the fool goes on to this journey to discover his world, right? The Hierophant being presented as a weakness really tells me that you have personally faced what it's like to not be benefited by society and its rules and regulations. Okay, so obviously this could be a variety of different things. This could be race, social status, this could be your country of citizenship. Basically what I'm sensing here is you felt really restricted by basically your circumstance and the way and where you fit in politically or sociologically into the confines of society. Like, perhaps you were a very, very artistic kid who wanted to be an actor, right? And you were like, all I want is to go to Hollywood and to be a star. But you were born, let's say, in an ex-Soviet state, okay? I'm just using my story as an example. And obviously when you're born in an ex-Soviet state, and if you want to do acting in Hollywood, that's obviously already a feeling of restriction, right? Because you are recognizing that not only am I not born where my dream is meant to be fulfilled, but also I am restricted due to my citizenship, due to international law, all of that. So basically this gives me a feeling of like you having an awareness that you are limited in one way or another because of basically your circumstance, because of your family, because of the situation that you were born into. And with the Hierophant being your weakness, this really tells me that it has hit you pretty hard. Like, honestly, I feel like you just wish that society was operating differently. You might be the kind of person who is like, yeah, capitalism, this is really how we build the whole world, right? This is really what we decided to make the whole world like. I don't get it. I don't get it. We could have been eating grapes with our lovers and having communities and music and excitement, and instead we're doing this. Like, this could be your internal narrative going on here. All right, let's move on to your next card with Three of Pentacles here. This card represents what makes you unique, and as you see, we have a creative process captured in this card here. So there's definitely something about you that makes you unique. Your perspective, the way that your eye just lays on a situation, your perspective, your vision, your personal glasses, right? Your own vision is your truth, and that's what's the most unique about you. You have this ability to really take a look at the world around you and to transfer it into an artistic form of expression. So it could be painting, writing, it could be dancing, right? There is a lot of creative energy here. You could be a very spiritual, very artistic person, a person with a lot of different interests, and I think you have really spent lifetimes basically, cultivating the sense of artistry here. I mean, I would honestly be very surprised with you guys if not all of you are artists in one way or another, just because there's such a strong emphasis on you recognizing what makes art art. Like, you're not out here shaming other people for what they do with their own creative pursuit. You know that real art is just an expression of this channeled energy, and you're really ready to give it your voice, your own perspective here. With Three of Swords concluding your reading, and with Seven of Swords coming to clarify it, we're seeing a theme of basically you overcoming some sort of a massive heartbreak in your life, okay? Pile number 3. So for your group, I'm seeing this before and after, basically. At one point in your life, you're not fully connected to your uniqueness, to your pearl qualities, to your luxury, to your status. You're not really connected to that royal, kind of powerful, luxurious energy that is within you, that is a part of your soul's identity. And the reason why you're not connected to that part is because of certain negative energy that you had to deal with in this lifetime. So this might be some sort of a deep-rooted trauma related to your family. This could be karma that you brought in from past lifetimes or karmic entanglements. This lifetime, whatever it might be, you were meant with Seven of Swords here to really rise from the dead here, right? You were meant to rise from the dead, clean up the cycle, and then you would be truly connected to your power here. I mean, honestly, pile number 3, if you see yourself being on red carpets, on Met Gala, constantly having access to high fashion, makeup, all of those kinds of things, it's clearly here. I mean, whatever it is that you're doing, it's clear to me that you are a inspiration source to other people. You are like very well known. I think you're meant to be very well known in your lifetime. You're meant to be maybe a celebrity. You're meant to be in a position of power, maybe a political figure here. Who knows? But you are meant to be in the eye of people. People were meant to look at you, at your beauty, at your self-expression, at your unique ability to show them your own perspective, at your creativity, right? And you're really, really meant to channel that into an artistic pursuit and really basically help people. I think honestly, pile number 3, you will get the most in touch with this power, with your creative power. You will get access to this abundance and luxury and wealth once you wrap up this cycle, right? And I think your work in the future will have to deal with expressing the wrapping up of the cycle. Does that make sense? Like, this gives me a feeling of someone going through shadow work and then you're writing, let's say, an album about it, okay? Or you're writing a book about it, and you're processing through your creativity what had happened, some sort of a darkness, some sort of a shadow. And not only is it serving you as this processing of shadow kind of mechanism, but also it becomes the creative project of your lifetime, because it allows other people to see your pain vulnerably and to relate to it in that way. Yeah, I mean, with the new pearl here, a pearl has to go through several months of process, different kinds of processes at the bottom of the ocean, inside the shell, right, in complete darkness. For this expensive mineral or for this expensive piece of jewelry, how should I refer to the pearl here? But for pearl to be discovered, it has to be within confines of darkness for an extended period of time at the bottom of the ocean, right? So it tells me a story of like, you really had to dig far, you had to go far to look at your pain, and at some point you process this pain, you process this darkness, and you really get rooted in your power here. Like, you'll never have to address this emotional pain again. With Three of Swords just being here, it's like you're definitely carrying something emotional here. It's not something external, it's just like an emotional sense of darkness that is not really allowing you to move forward, that is really tripping you in the illusion of, you know, you have to listen to this pain and you can't rise. But at some point in your life you do rise. Pile number 3. So yeah, I mean, pile number 3, congratulations, you are meant to really be this, I mean, you already are. This is really hard for me to say because you already are this person on a soulful level. You're meant to be abundant, you're meant to be luxurious, you're meant to really be in your creative power and your spiritual power here too. You're not really meant to fit into the confines of society here. Like, I understand that in a lot of ways you may have felt limited politically or sociologically, but you were meant to really overcome these external world influences on you, and you were really meant to understand them, because obviously I think your work in one way or another, your massive like help to humanity in this lifetime is going to be about overcoming this pain, about overcoming your first story or your narrative about yourself. You were meant to help people get rooted in their power. And wow, I mean, you were meant to, with the Lovers here, I'm thinking you're meant to walk people home to who they're meant to be, to the life that truly belongs to them. That's so sweet. Pile number 3. Yeah, definitely very unique, very creative energy. Pile number 3, you are not meant to be like anyone else, okay? You're not meant to fit into confines of society. You are meant to be a weirdo. You're meant to be unique. You're meant to be this multifaceted person, because you're meant to show other people like you, basically, who are like a little bit behind you in the spiritual journey, that you can embody that. You can transform this pain. You can stand up and get up and rise again and rediscover your truth, your authenticity, and your pearl here. And pile number 3, I mean, you're definitely meant to be in extreme abundance. Like, your soul's blueprint is abundance, okay? So maybe likely as a child you were like always expecting to be rich, and maybe things have slowed down for you, or maybe you are rich. I mean, I'm not sure, you know, it doesn't really matter in the end of the day, because it's all a reflection of our internal journey anyway. But if you haven't gotten in touch with that physical materialization of abundance just yet, I'm just here to let you know that you will in this lifetime. Absolutely. Like, please mark my word. Pile number 3, you're meant to be like abundantly wealthy in this lifetime. It's like generational wealth here, okay? This is what I'm basically getting here. So yeah, pile number 3, I mean, what an honor it is to have such beautiful souls watch my readings. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading, for letting me into your energy. Alright, I think this is all that I see here, pile number 3. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to support me, I would love to get your comments down below and hear your story. And obviously subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next video.